this evening, and I'm just going to go ahead and acknowledge that this tight pony looks like an egghead, but my room is a friggin' disaster, so I will not be unblurring my background. So, the video that I chose today is actually a really good workout video. It's kind of like a how-to for beginners at the gym, and I liked this video a lot. So she chose, I think, 5 different exercises and worked through them. A lot of them are machines, and I think that the last review that we did was mostly like body weight exercises. So I thought that it would be good to review this one so that you get some dialogue around some machine work, because a lot of you do have machines programmed. But the problem with machines is sometimes it allows us just to be passive. And if we're being passive, then that means we're just kind of like going through the flow, going through the motions, doing whatever weight we did before, keying in the slot, and just kind of sitting, relaxing while we work whatever muscle. And we're not always sure exactly what we're feeling for. And the trick to machines is actually to try to be really proactive and use your full body to stabilize so that your muscles that you're using for the machine are able to produce more force, are able to have more output, really. So the trick is to keep your mind in the game and stay focused and make sure that you are using your full body to stabilize as you're going through the workout. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we are. Bear with me. Go ahead, share it up. And, oh, that's not it. Here we go. And I will make it full screen. So she starts out on the stair stepper. And actually, I was so happy to have this opportunity to talk about this because cardio can be awesome, and cardio machines in particular can be really awesome, and not necessarily in the point that you're burning extra calories, but one, you're circulating blood through the body and you're helping to warm up all of the muscles that you're going to use. So that is where I kind of want your head to go when you hop on a piece of cardio equipment. Some of you have it programmed, and that's awesome. Some of you will get there. And this can be especially helpful. The stair stepper can be especially helpful if you get achy knees. So that's something that I'll typically program for you if your knees are feeling like almost too much tension as you're going through your workout, or even some pain. Stair stepping can really help warm up those joints so that by the time you load them with weights, it is not as much tension, not as much pain. So the idea here with cardio machines, stair stepper, elliptical, even treadmill, or the bike, again, you can either be passive or you can be proactive. So you don't necessarily need to go hands-free, but no, regardless if you're hands-free or you're hand-supported, you should be actively thinking about the muscles that you're engaging to step up those stairs. Don't get lazy with it. Don't just push through and mindlessly go through and watch Netflix. You can watch Netflix if you want to, but you should be engaging your core, engaging your abs, feeling your body stride through every single step, because this is another opportunity that you get to work on core without doing crunches on the floor. And this is actually way more beneficial because it's forcing you to use all of your muscle, all of the different muscles in your body in a long muscle chain, and strengthen the connective tissue between all of the different tendons and ligaments and muscles that really work together to form your movement. So think about that when you hop on the piece of cardio equipment before you get on your workout. Proactive every time. You don't want to waste your time when you go into the gym. So if you don't want to waste 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes on cardio, you won't waste it if you're being proactive. All right, enough of my cardio rant. She's on there for, I don't know, a minute. So next is the leg press. Love the leg press. This one I see commonly done wrong all the time, and it can actually be really, it could be high risk for your back if you don't do it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. When you set up your leg press, the most important part is that your back is totally flat to the seat and that your butt is pressed up all the way to the bottom of the seat. Okay, this might seem obvious, but as you lower the weight down, your butt is going to want to peel up away from this bottom seat. Don't let it. If you let it, then this entire load that is on your legs can transfer into your lower back when your pelvis kind of like tucks under and comes up, so that your back is the pressing point into the bench, your low back, as opposed to your legs, your glutes getting stretched and your whole torso, really, your trunk is managing the stress and the tension. So that is really the most important thing. The seat level, it doesn't really matter so much for you right now, whatever is comfortable. And then your foot level, again, doesn't really matter too much right now, whatever is comfortable. You can put your feet up a little bit higher if you feel like you're getting too much tension in your knees, or you can put your heels back if you feel like your butt is pulling away from the chair too much. And you really want to get nice range here. If you can safely, without your butt or your back pulling away, you want to lower this load just like she's got it, pretty much knees to your chest. If you have that mobility, that range of motion, then that's how you should be working it. If you stop and do like a little half rep, that's not going to benefit you as much as going deep. So this is when you have to start to think about, how much do I want to load this weight, right? Because I want to load it heavy enough to challenge myself. But if I load it so heavy that I can only move the weight down 5 inches and back up, and I'm not getting the weight all the way to my chest, then you're losing a whole, couple of inches of your muscle that needs to be worked in order to strengthen everything all as one and to really maximize your amount of muscle growth. Right? If you think about working, I don't know, we'll say your bicep, for example. We wouldn't want to do a bicep curl just here, right? Because we're not lengthening and shortening the whole entire muscle to really challenge all of the muscle fibers that are throughout it. I see this happen with the legs a lot because we don't think about it as much as we do a bicep. Like, of course, a bicep curl like this is not effective. It's not going to work. But then when we go to squat, we'll only squat like 5 inches and not get deep enough to really lengthen out those muscles and challenge them in the way that we need to in order to make them grow. All right. So she does a really good job with the leg press. I like it. And she's going to do more leg press. Yep, as you can see, her butt's down the whole time. Her back's nice and flat. Your core should be engaged. You should be hanging on to the handles to the side, making sure that your body is really tucked in there, like snug as a bug in a rug. You want to be like a book in there, like a book in a bookshelf, if that makes sense. Okay. On to the next exercise. I know we have reviewed rows before, but just as a reminder, she is really reaching forward and getting a lot of movement through the trunk right here. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. What I want you guys to know is there's not really a wrong way or a right way when it comes to lifting. There's a safe way and there's an unsafe way. This is totally, it's safe and it's not wrong, but what she's doing is she's mobilizing her back, her trunk, and everything above the hips, really. So she loses some of the tension that she could be isolating in her lats. So it's more of a stretch and there's more core associated here. And she's got a lot of movement in her shoulders. So it's really it's compounding more muscles than just isolating one muscle at a time. And when that makes a difference is if we are trying to grow your muscle, then we want to target the tension in that muscle to cause the maximum amount of damage to tear those muscle fibers apart so that they can grow as fast as possible. So if we're using everything together, we might get tired, we might get fatigued, we might feel like we're working really hard, but the muscle isn't being pushed to in proximity and failure. And if we are not isolating, then we'll run into a really hard time trying to grow any particular muscle. So I would recommend with your rows, just lock this out. Keep your chest there where she finishes at the top. Keep it here. And all you got to do is this small movement that happens with the elbows pushed back. We pull the elbows and tuck them behind. And remember, with a row, we're targeting the back. So don't get caught up thinking about your arms moving. Think about your back moving. So your back is all spread out when you reach forward. And then we want to squeeze and tighten the shoulder blades together behind, almost like you've got threads attached to your back shoulder blades. And I'm tying a bow and then I'm holding it tight, squeezing your shoulder blades to pinch together behind you. And as soon as your back is closed, when you can't squeeze your back any farther together, then that's the end of the movement. Don't over pull it, don't overshoot it, because then it just turns into a big bicep burn. If you do start to feel your bicep burn, it's not a bad thing, right? It's a supportive muscle group, so it's to be expected, it's common. But if you're not feeling your back and you're only feeling your bicep, then try to get your brain to go, okay, this is a back workout. I need to spread my back and then pinch my back together. Each rep, every single rep, and just focus on really, it's almost like a shrug that happens back there. Onward we go. What's she got next here? Okay, so then we have some pectoral flies. So the pecs, the chest can be a challenging one to feel. But the most important thing that I can tell you is your pec muscles are going to fire up right around here. So in your brain, you should go, okay, I want the top of my armpits to burn and squeeze in there. You can practice doing that without any weight at all, even as you sit here just now. Press on the top of your chest, like right up here, and just practice squeezing that armpit in. That is the contraction that needs to happen as you're doing a pec fly or a chest press, anything that involves with the chest. So your arms are out wide, slight bend in the elbow, and then just think big bear hug. It's not super complex, but these ones are challenging because as you push, your chest wants to cave in. Your shoulders want to take over and get on top of the weight to muscle it down, because the majority of us females, our shoulders are stronger than our chest, than our pecs. So instead of letting your body just do what it wants and to press over and press with your shoulders, we have to work really hard to keep our chest elevated and to almost balance a bowl on the top of your chest, even as you press together, especially as you press together. So as you're pressing together, that's the thing you want to think about, squeezing in the armpit. She does a pretty good job keeping her chest up high, and she keeps her shoulders down away from her ears, keeping the stress away from her shoulders. And with this one, the majority of you, a majority of women, majority of people do not need a lot of weight here. What we run into if we overload it, we'll start to feel the shoulders burn. We'll start to feel the traps up here start to burn. And that just means that our body is taking the path of least resistance instead of our brain trying to be proactive and having the right amount of weight so that we can actually target the muscles that we want to with that exercise. Great job. I forget what her name is. Okay. I guess that